I never use AI to write a script for me, and I don't think anybody else should. And the reason is that no matter how well you train it, it's very unlikely to either A, sound just like you, and B, I don't believe in scripting videos word for word anyway. Because even if you are really good and you have a teleprompter, I still think if you are ad libbing it line by line and editing the pieces together later, it's going to come out better than if you read the script. Again, even if you're a professional and have a teleprompter and all of that. I like to say I don't use AI to tell me what to say. I use it so I don't stare at a blank screen. So what I use AI for with script writing is I use it to organize my thoughts. And so let's open a new chat GPT. Oh, actually, let's go back and check on okay. So the deep research is still going. I was going to say, let's check out on our deep research, but that's still running. So we'll leave that go. Let's open a new chat GPT window. And I actually built a custom GPT that I use with my clients, but I think anyone can absolutely train chat GPT to, teach it to write scripts in the way that they want. Okay. So I'm going to just hit record down here and I'm just going to ramble an idea for a video and then let it do its thing. Okay. Just to give you an idea of what this can do. All right. So I am a course creator and I teach public speaking. I want to make a video about why picture the audience naked is terrible speaking advice. My audience is thought leaders and coaches that want to grow their authority and get better at speaking on stage. And so what I would talk about in this video is I'd talk about where the audience naked advice came from and why we still hear about it. Then I would also talk about why doing that actually backfires and creates distraction and awkwardness when you're trying to speak. And then I have a framework called the one person method that I would show, which is all about speaking as though you're talking to one engaged friend. And then I would also talk about how focusing on connection beats performance anxiety. I could tell a story about how in my first keynote, I tried the naked audience trick and completely lost my train of thought. And then later I practiced speaking as though addressing one close friend, and it worked way better. And it's worked that way for my clients, including one of them who got a TEDx talk that has gotten thousands of views. And then strong opinions, I would say probably my strongest opinion on this topic is that most public speaking advice is recycled nonsense that can do more harm than good. So now I'm going to stop that and you'll see the rambling jumbleness here in a second. So this is just what I ramble, right? And when I do this, if you're writing a script, I like to think of, three important things. One is, what are you going to talk about? The next one is, what's a story or multiple stories you can share to bring it to life? Anybody can give out speaking tips, right? When you add stories and your own perspectives, then it becomes more unique. And the third thing is any strong opinions you have, because again, those stand out. So I'm going to hit enter here and let this thing go. And I'll tell you what it's doing on the back end. So I got to study Hollywood script writing techniques with a consultant years ago when I used to work in radio. And she taught me about how you keep people watching and things like that. So it's going to go through here in seconds and it is going to create this outline of my video for me. Again, using what I taught about it on the back end. And if anyone's never created a custom GPT, it's so much easier than people think. You can do it with using ChatGPT's help. So just like that, I don't know how long that was, 8 seconds. And it went through, and this is what I trained it to do, but you can obviously, this is what I use with clients, but you can obviously train it to do whatever you want. But it starts off and says, here's the strategy behind this video. So this goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Don't trust the AI unless it justifies what it's saying. Then it broke it down into segments. We have hook, segment 1, 2, 3. And then I've trained it to go through and basically open a loop throughout each segment. So you can see here at segment 1, this idea didn't start with speakers. It came from performance anxiety in comedy and theater. So if you're watching that, you're like, oh, I'd like to hear more about that. So then it goes through. And then it goes to the next part. This brings us to the real problem. It doesn't just fail to calm you down. It actually makes things worse. And it sets up the part most people skip. Oh, what's that? So I didn't say any of that, as you saw when I was rambling. It's gone through and it's taken what I came up with and it's put it together. No, I would never say, that piece is locked in and it sets up the part most people skip, right? That's very AI, which again is why I don't use it for scripting. But now I just ad lib off of this and I end up with a really strong, high retention video from that.
I love this. This is amazing. So you just would literally have that on your screen. And is it obvious that you're reading something, or how do you make that look natural?
No. So what I do, I actually just released a YouTube video about this. It's on my channel if people want to see it, how I record, but I actually have it somewhere else on a side screen. And I look at it and I just remember what a couple of the sections are. And then I turn to the camera and I talk for as long as I can until I don't remember what's next. Then I go back and then I come back to the camera and I do it again. So it comes out so much more natural that way. And because we have like transcript based editing now, it's so quick and easy to edit that stuff together.
I love that. Yay. I feel like you're blowing my mind. This is amazing on just how like fast and simple you're doing the research, coming up with concepts, coming up with like good thumbnail images. Like, I'm just like stuff that literally used to take us weeks is literally taking you minutes. And I'm like,
You know, because you're one of the people that used to do all this stuff.
yeah, it's just, but even all of everything, like even just the titles and the thumbnails and the way you're coming up with what goes in your actual content, like the whole thing is just so fast but efficient because it's using data.
Yeah. And that's that key. It's not just, it's not just efficient, it's effective because of the data. And I'm glad you brought up research too. It used to be if I wanted to make a video about the, top 3 microphones to consider for YouTube or best microphones for YouTube. I used to have to spend so much time researching, reading reviews, in some cases, maybe ordering the product, which I still will do sometimes, but it was so much time. And now I can just ask it, hey, what are the top 5, microphones for YouTube? Give me some in different price ranges, whatever it might be. And Gemini or ChatGPT will just go out and get them for me. So that's another thing that works really well. But yeah, it really has changed things. I would never have taken the time to outline a video that well before because it would have, because I've always been about, getting things done quickly. It would have taken me hours to think through like how to open and close loops throughout the whole thing. I could do it. I know how to do that, but it would have taken hours. And even before AI, I would just basically jot down bullet points, think about a hook, hit record, and start recording. But now, because of AI, I do all this extra stuff and it just takes seconds and it has such a big impact.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the fact that your entire workflow from start to finish for a video is so fast. But like, as you said, like back a few years ago, you'd be like, yeah, I should be using, open loops and stuff like that. Like I should be using all the things you get taught to use when you're doing speaker training and stuff like that. But you just wouldn't
Yeah.
sit there and do it. Whereas now it's like you're just naturally doing it as part of your prep in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
If you want to watch the entire episode, click here. And if you want to watch more episodes like this, click here.